Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the 2018 NFL Scouting Combine, specifically the defensive safety group in terms of how well they tested based on analytics. And if you are new to the channel or new to the work that I do, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So if you're not familiar with what a explosive lower body strength score is, a speed score, or a flexibility score, all those terms and definitions will be in the description in case you are a little confused about what goes into those terms. Bottom line is the explosive lower body strength score, EXP score, as shown in the chart right here, is essentially you take the vertical and the broad jump and you measure it against mass density. So you're trying to figure out how explosive a defensive safety is for their size based on the vertical and the broad jump. The speed score, or SPD, on the chart you see is the 40-yard dash measured against mass density, which is essentially measuring how fast they are for their size. And then the FLX on the chart here, or flexibility score, is the short shuttle / 3-cone measured against mass density, which tells you how flexible they are for their size. Or you could also view it as how balanced they are for their size, because cornerbacks that typically have better balance and core strength do well in the short shuttle / 3-cone versus guys who don't have as great of balance. So that's basically the main breakdown when it comes to those numbers. The first thing I'm going to get to in this video is I'm going to point out the players who did not hit special athleticism traits. So essentially, we're going to go through all the players who kind of failed to hit numbers indicative of an all-pro / Pro Bowl player, and then we're going to get into the guys who actually had the best days in terms of testing towards the very end of the video, which some of them are pretty obvious, but some of them not so much. But bottom line is, let's start with the cornerbacks, well, not cornerbacks, but safeties who did not do the best in terms of their testing, indicative of an all-pro / Pro Bowl player. Starting with explosive lower body strength, the players who did not meet the minimum threshold for explosive lower body strength of a all-pro or Pro Bowl safety, whether you're talking free safety or strong safety, Quinn Blanding from Virginia, Rashawn Golden from Tennessee, Stephen Roberts from Auburn, and Trey Flowers from Oklahoma State. All those safeties did not hit the minimum threshold for all-pro or Pro Bowl potential based on their athleticism traits. It doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be a starter, but it does mean that the chances of becoming like a high-quality NFL player, like these are players that I would advise strongly against taking in the first round. Is the basic thing when it comes to these guys, and also guys that I might even advise strongly not taking in the second round either, because of their testing. So that's the basic bottom line when it comes to that. In terms of speed scores, these are safeties who did not hit the minimum speed threshold for all-pro / Pro Bowl safety. Max Redfield from Indiana Penn is that guy, and Van Smith from Clemson is that other safety. So again, those are safeties who did not hit speed, indicative of a high-quality NFL player. And then the last place to look at is the FLX score. So these are safeties who did not hit flexibility testing, indicative of an all-pro / Pro Bowl safety, whether you're talking free safety or strong safety. One is Jesse Bates, and the other player is Tracy Walker from Louisiana Lafayette. So again, all those players did not hit flexibility testing indicative of all-pro / Pro Bowl safety. It doesn't mean that they can't be an NFL starter. It just means that the chances of them becoming a high-quality NFL safety are very, very low, because there's never been a safety since 1999 with a flexibility score less in that sort of range where they're at when it comes to their testing. In terms of the guys that had the best days in terms of testing, I think Derwin James is definitely worth mentioning. Had a 96.45 explosive lower body strength score and a 90.33 speed score. Both those numbers are fantastic for his position. I'm a little bummed out that he didn't do the flexibility testing, because that was actually one area where I was a little worried with him. So we'll have to wait till the Florida State Pro Day to get that information. But bottom line is, still had a very good day in terms of EXP and speed. Godwin from Northwestern is another guy that had a ridiculous day. One of the most athletic safeties at the combine, if not the most athletic. Had a 90.78 EXP score, 97.03 speed score, and 99.52 flexibility score. He was just fantastic in terms of his overall testing, and I am very excited to see what happens with him. Justin Reed from Stanford, 82.98 in terms of EXP, 95.84 in terms of speed, and 96.76 in terms of flexibility. Another great, awesome, fantastic day for a guy like him. Terrell Edmonds from Virginia Tech, 99.29 in terms of explosive lower body strength score, 95.34 in terms of speed. And then the last player who had a fantastic day in terms of testing was Troy Apke, which I'm probably saying that wrong, from Penn State. 89.10 in terms of explosiveness, 95.59 in terms of speed, and 98 in terms of flexibility for his size. In terms of the safeties that I would say you should pay the most attention to based on the testing, Derwin James, for obvious reasons, Derwin James is the guy that I would definitely pay attention to based on his overall testing. He's a guy that easily should be considered at least a first-round safety. Top 10, I think, is a little rich for him, but definitely in the first round. Justin Reed from Stanford is a guy that had a fantastic production profile, and the athleticism testing adds another kind of dimension to him that I think is very interesting. And also Godwin from Northwestern is a guy that I think testing-wise could be a fantastic value as a day 2 pick as a safety. And of course Terrell Edmonds as well from Virginia Tech is another guy that, based on his testing, could be a fantastic overall player with his production profile as well. The other guy, though, that tested really well in Troy Apke from Penn State, his production was just not that great at Penn State. Was a guy that started for the first year this year as well, so there's a little inexperience there. Now, could you draft him as a special teamer? Absolutely. But he's not the type of guy that I would really go out on a limb on and take day 2. I think he's more so like a day 3 guy, a guy that you bring in to be a special teamer and see what you got. Versus a guy where you look at the testing numbers and go, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing, let's draft him and develop him. Because I think it's best to draft and develop in day 3 than it is in day 2, just from a standard value position. So he's the only guy that tested really well, but I would not exactly put a big pick on. And as far as the other player in particular that I think everybody's talking about, Minkah Fitzpatrick, his explosion score was fine. His speed score was also fine. But again, there's no flexibility testing to really determine what the rest of his athleticism traits are. So we'll have to figure that out when Alabama's Pro Day comes around. But until now, I'm just going to kind of leave him blank. I still think he's a fantastic player. Top 10 would be a little rich for me, but definitely a guy that I think if the flexibility testing passes muster, then I think he's a guy that you should also consider as a first-round safety. So again, lots and lots and lots of really good safety athletes. We'll have to see what happens as the pro days come around to see who improves and who doesn't improve. But so far, a pretty strong group of safety athletes, to say the least. And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content, and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. Leave a comment below if you have any questions about any of the data stuff that I've talked about in this video, or if you have any specific prospect questions. Again, be sure to leave that leave a comment below on those particular areas. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.